Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm participating in the Secret Not Secret Kit Club telephone game YouTube hop, and I followed Moira, and so she sent me her gorgeous layout that you saw at the beginning for me to scrap lift. And so I scrapped with some things and then kind of chose to go my way with the other things. I couldn't find a background pattern paper that I was happy with like she has in hers. And then I also decided to rotate the whole layout so it's kind of on its side with the strips of paper. So I did want to stick with the same kind of color scheme that she had as well. So I'm gutting out this paper here, and I can't remember exactly where that paper is from now. I want to say it's from a We Are Memory Keepers, but I'm not 100% sure. And then I am using a piece of white cardstock. I'm distressing the edges and then I'm going to adhere it down. And I kind of went into my scrap bin for this layout. That's something that I enjoy doing, and I have kind of gotten away from using my scrap, so I decided to kind of dive back in with this layout. So just adhering my white cardstock down, and I like to make sure it's not going anywhere, so I double up on my ATG tape here. And then distressing the edges some more with my fingers. And then I'm going to start working on my strips of paper. And so these are all papers that I pulled out of my scrap bin, like I said. And I was trying to figure out which black and white stripe I preferred. And so I ended up with this kind of sketchy one. And that one is from Me and My Big Ideas, a paper pad that I got. And then again, going with the same color scheme. So she had a lot of this kind of almost like a coral color and some orange and like an off red, not like a bright blood red. And so I decided to go with that and with the yellow as well. So I'm just cutting some pieces here that I thought would work. And they're all from, you know, again, my scrap bin, so different manufacturers, some Page Evans, some crepe paper. And I'm just cutting things out that match with my color scheme. So I have these pictures of my daughter, and she was running in some school fun run that they had, and so my husband had snapped these pictures, and I just think they're adorable, so I'm going to kind of go with them. And she's wearing that black and white striped shirt, so it works really well with the stripes in my layouts. And in Moira's layout, she did use 2 photos as well. Excuse me, sorry. I think hers are bigger than mine, but doesn't matter. You know, I'm still representing them here. So, and I love how it shows her kind of in motion. So yeah, just kind of working out how I'm going to set up the layout here. And trying to decide, I want a few more layers. Moira had quite a few layers and I wanted some more. So I'm trying to decide what else I could add here. And this gorgeous paper that I'm contemplating using is from Felicity Jane. And it's got like this rose almost lace pattern to it, and I just love it. So I'm going to use that just as a thin layer around. And I did pop up this one photo on some fun foam just to give a little bit of dimension and, you know, added difference between the 2 photos, because they are very similar but not the same photo. So, and I always trim my paper down and then use my little trimmer to straighten up the edges, because it drives me bananas when my edges aren't straight. Like, I can't handle it. I will like keep messing with things and moving things if the edges of my paper aren't straight, and it's not for any good reason, just it just keeps bothering me, so I just will keep moving things. And so I find it's just easier to cut them straight, and then I don't have to worry about it. So just one of my little weird, I guess, scrapbooking insecurities there. And then just working some more on my layers here. I was thinking about using that girl card, but then I'm going to go with this over the rainbow card instead. Just more because the color matched, not because the sentiment really, works or anything. And then just using another piece of scrap paper to create some tags. And there were a couple, again, in Moira's layout, so I felt like I needed to add some to mine that fit my color scheme. So that's what I'm working on here. And I don't create an entire tag because it's going to be behind here, so I just create the top of the tag because that's the only part that's going to show. And that's the only part really that makes you know it's a tag, right? So I figure I don't need to make the whole thing. And then just adding a little bit more here. And thinking. I've got my thinking fingers out. So I wanted to use some of this Amy Tangerine paper. It had all these little words on it, and so I'm like, oh, some of those are just perfect. So I fussy cut them out off screen, and now I'm coming back on to kind of put my layout back together. So I am putting these two pieces of paper together and then, ruffling the edges up because I want some definition between my layers, and I find that that's an easy way to get it. So I'm going to do that on all of my pieces of paper here. And then I brought in a doily, and I believe there's one in Moira's layout. I can't see it on my tiny screen, but I just needed a little something to kind of break it up and have a little resting place over there. So I added this little micro like white doily that I had. And it wasn't even a full doily, as you saw. It was just a piece of one. And then working with these words that I cut out, I have no worries in yellow, and then awesome hustle is going to be my title. And I cut out some of the hearts off of that paper too. And I just feel like these are just perfect for this layout. The yellow works really well, and I love the kind of, handwritten font of this. So I'm popping it up on some fun foam just because, again, I like the added dimension, and especially when I'm doing like white on white kind of like these are, I feel like it helps it stand out a little bit more. And so I'm sticking them down, and then the hearts as well. And I love the shadow that the foam adhesive gives. And then I was still thinking that this needs a little something more. So I am going to come in with another, or with some letter stickers and add my daughter's name to the title. So it's going to be Awesome Hustle Evie. And I do really like how this is looking. Like I feel like you can really see Moira's inspiration. And yet it's, my style as well, and it just works out really well. So I'm coming in with these pink thickers. Now I absolutely love this font. I hate this color. I thought I would be fine with it, and I love it when everybody else is using it, but no, it's just too pink. I don't like it. So I'm going to come in with a Sharpie marker and just color over the top of it. So then you get a little bit of the pink from the edges, but really it's a black font. So, and with foam thickers, it's super easy to change the color of them using either a Sharpie marker, or you can use paints, or there's a lot of other options. You can white them out using some gesso and then paint over it. So you have a lot of options. You don't have to go with the color that it is. And since I have a pack of these, I'll probably do this a lot more. And then I think I'm going to come in with a few sequins. So I added a couple of the little stars out of the thicker pack, and they were a little lonely, so I felt like they needed a little, a little help, and why not add sequins? So I have these, they're called Black Magic. They're from Spiegel Mom Scraps, and so the color was perfect. I mean, I think I just add the black discs to it. And oh yeah, I pulled out this other one. This is called Minty Meadows, and it's an older mix as well. And it had the perfect color yellow, so I pull in a few of those, and then I'm going to add some twine to my tags, and I think that's going to be pretty much it. But yeah, so if you have never heard of the telephone game Hop, it's just somebody starts out with a layout, whether it's a scrap lift or one of their own creations, and then they pass their layout on to the next person in the line. I think there's like 4 or 5 different groups that are doing it. I am part of the Scrappy Shenanigans group, and it's just a lot of fun because, you know, I have no idea what the original layout looks like, so it's fun to see how much they change, like as it goes down the lines. So I will have links down below in the description box of everybody who's playing along, at least in my group, and so you can hop along and see, you know, how it's going, and then you should check out the other groups because, like I said, it's a lot of fun. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you can see how I got to where the end of this layout is from Moira's wonderful inspiration, and I will see you again next time. Bye!